Coming on next is the Twintiquin Antique Roadshow with your host, Drake Snide, right after this.
Hey, this is Trey Snide with
Drake Snide.
Next Door Radio and the Twintiquin Antique Roadshow. Today's show is brought to you by the Antique Orphanage out of Cedar Bluff, Virginia. Antique Orphanage, dealing with only 100% original antiques and collectibles.
Also, the Antique Orphanage is always looking to buy antiques, collectibles, and oddities.
Antique Orphanage, a wide range of A to Z. Be sure to check out the Antique Orphanage on Facebook today. And always remember, every piece deserves a good home.
What's going on, guys? Drake Snide here with Twintiquin Antique Roadshow. I want to give a shout out to New Generation Antiques out of Mount Victory, Ohio. Details on Facebook, American Pickers 24/7. Travels and shows all over the country. Now go visit New Generation Antiques today and tell them Twintiquin sent you.
And good afternoon. This is the Twintiquin Antique Roadshow right here on Next Door Radio, nextdoorradio.com. I am your host, Drake Snide. And today we have the honor to bring on Edward Albert with the Pocket Chains out of Alliance, Ohio. What's going on, man?
Oh, not much, man. Just enjoying the beautiful sunshine we finally got out of the winter, you know?
Very nice. So you just got back from vacation, didn't you?
Yes, we did. We went down to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, in Gatlinburg area. We had a great time. Got to see some of the Smoky Mountains, Cades Cove, Anakista. Went around and seen all the fun little things to see. Took the family, the kids. They enjoyed it. We had a great time.
Yeah,
did a little history.
Yeah, I was down in Alliance, Ohio. Was it last week or the week before that when I was on vacation? And we had a little picking trip up there with Ryan Phillips with New Generation Antiques. And I hate that I missed you. That was Pocket Chains is one of our stops every time we go down there.
Yeah, we always enjoy having you guys out, and I'm so glad to be able to be friends with Ryan. He has done so much for this area as far as the antique business goes for us, because he's just been a real good friend. He's brought people like you in and other people, great people that we've met through the way. Just really been a real mentor. You know, he's been wonderful.
Yes, I met Ryan Phillips. I don't even know, a couple years ago now, maybe.
Yeah.
But ever since that I met him, he's been literally coaching, and don't expect a single thing. And it's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, absolutely nothing out of it. So, and I always try to take care of him when he comes into town. Just make sure that he goes home with a truckload if I can help it, because he's just been so good to us.
Well, yeah, talking about a truckload. Let's tell the listeners a little bit about the Pocket Chains. What do you offer to the antique world?
Well, I do a little bit of everything. And what happened, I'll just give you our quick backstory. We started out, I used to be in car sales, and just got to the point where I was getting burnt out from it and everything else. Just didn't want to do it no more. And the big thing that really did it for me was my kids. They just didn't know who I was. You know, I'd come home at 16-hour days, come home, good morning, good night. That's all they knew me as. And your mom told me you did this, your mom told me you did that. Yeah. So I was always correcting them. But I just decided I wanted to have a relationship with them. Be the richest man in the world, no relationship with your kids. What do you got? You got nothing.
Amen.
And so that was the idea behind starting up the antique shop. Then we have gone from, building to building to trying to find the right building. We rented for a while. We had leased, and then one point Planet Fitness bought our contract. We got kicked out. It's been a long road for us, but guess what? We're not the give up type. We finally have got our forever home. We bought the old J.C. Penney's from downtown in Alliance where we're at, and it's basically what they call it the 50,000 square foot wonder down here, because it's the only building that's got all of the buildings still left. A lot of the buildings, the back end was torn off, or 2 stories been knocked off the top, those type of things. We have a massive building to expand into, and Drake was here. You could know, man, it's huge, and there's tons of stuff to shop.
Massive.
We hunted out from everywhere. We've gone to Moundsville, West Virginia, to Pittsburgh, to all the way up on the other side of Cleveland, over towards Ryan Phillips, Columbus. Just we've been all over the place and brought back stuff from here. Our main thing we do is we buy estates. Our trick is we buy the full contents of the home. I don't go to garage sales, and I don't go to auctions, just because if I can buy the whole estate, what do I want to stand around an auction for 4 hours waiting to get that 1 or 2 pieces I want? And I can buy the whole estate. The cool part is when I buy the estate, you never know what you're going to get.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
So, so walking into your building, I know on our YouTube channel, just look up Next Door Radio. If you have not liked and subscribed, please do that today. But on YouTube, you were actually one of our first series, Forgotten, Lost, and Found, and Life Behind the Counter. And you were one of our first shows that we did on there, a documentary we did down in Alliance at Pocket Change. And so you walk into the building, and first thing you see is the left side of the storefront. You redid everything inside that corner piece. Tell the listeners a little bit about that, how you decorated it, what's your mindset when you walk in?
Well, the problem is with this town where we're at, it's just a little suburb town. I mean, we're lucky to have 20,000 people here. That's for most of the cities around us. We're small. But the one thing is I'm trying to do is create the look of the destination point. I want people to come in and go, wow, and tell everybody about it. That's always my thought is when somebody comes in, I want to hear the wow. And then I know when they do that, they're going to tell everybody about where they've been that weekend or where they traveled. And you've got to check this place out. That's what I try to do by creating it. So what we've done is I actually own the original oak antique, I don't know what you want to call it, oak wall from the post office, from the East Canton post office. We bought the whole wall. It's mounted on my wall. Then we took pallet wood and built a general store. So I've got posts, a front porch, doors, windows, so on and so forth. And in between the two of those, we have an old horse-drawn Studebaker wagon that we picked up out of a barn. And those are what we call props. I put props in here to kind of create the atmosphere when you're buying, as if you're buying in that timeline. And things you may see on the front porch would be on the front porch of the general store. Things you may see at the post office will be in front of the post office wall. We gutted a general store, the entire interior of a general store up in Berlin Center. It's about half an hour, 45 minutes away from us. We brought it back here on the right-hand side. When you walk in the door, it's the cabinetry, all of the cupboards, everything that was inside that general store, we recreated into our timeline. It's just a fun way of doing it. It makes it fun for the customers when they're shopping. Instead of just an old metal shelf with pegboard, we went to the extent of creating an atmosphere as you shop. I just think it's a lot more fun for the people, and it's going to get the birds chirping. Everybody's telling all their stories about where they were at and what they've seen.
Oh, absolutely. And one thing I love about it when you walk in, when you say that wow factor, the first thing, what did I say when I first walked in? Dang. Yeah. I said, let's start recording. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things when you walk in and your mindset goes back to the childhood, back to your family down back in the day. And it's amazing what you've done with this place. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we're not done yet. We've done since you've been here. I don't know if you've seen when you're here the last week. Did you see the general store door we put in the back? We're making a tool room.
No, you had the outline and then you had stuff inside of it, but it wasn't finished. Yeah. We've been working on that, and then I also have purchased an actual operating carousel ride. That's our next move. That's the one that was on top, right?
That's going to be up on the stage in the back, and what it'll do is it'll rotate unique pieces of furniture instead of ride pieces. And the idea is we're going to hang those ride pieces up above the ride and then put the furniture on little rotating skids of sorts, and they'll be able to rotate the carousel instead.
Oh, that's fantastic. Make sure you send me a video. I'll get it.
Yeah, I will.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. So when you walk down, you brought me down. I'm just trying to give the listeners a little picture in their mind. When you walk down the stairs, tell the listeners about what we saw down below.
Well, as you walk to the back, you go down some old staircase, and it's the old, what it was is the J.C. Penney's building in the back had a warehouse. The warehouse has its own showroom downstairs for appliances and so on and so forth. That you didn't get to see because I used that as a storage hall. But when you come downstairs, as soon as you turn that corner, I kick the light on, it's 100 feet by 40 feet wide, and it's just a massive warehouse full of everything, which you got to see that one time. And it's just one of these big old brick buildings, those steel framed windows on each side. And you just walk down and you just tell it's a setting from the 20s. This building was built in 1909. I don't know when that back end was built, but it just gives you that setting like you're walking back into time. And that's why I love about it. I try to keep that setting, and I try not to modernize it, change it up. I like to feel like I'm there. I can hear the stories are being told.
Absolutely.
It's just fun.
So what we love about antique stores as well is when you walk in, there's always that one piece that brings you back, one piece at a time. And so tell the listeners a little bit about what kind of merchandise you actually have inside the store.
Well, we buy everything. So we buy the full contents of the home. And what we do is we timeline everything. So we'll have a kitchen area. We've got an old soda jerk counter. We've made it for the pops and soda display. The general store, which would be the cast iron pans, pots and pans, of that era in different medicinal bottles and so on and so forth. But we sell BB guns, we sell cast iron, we sell primitives, some modern, mid-century modern, not much, but a little bit of mid-century modern. We do a lot of repurposing. So we've got a lot of purposeful materials. People are looking for to make a fancier doorway or a headboard for their bed, or I have those raw materials here that you can kind of create from. Maybe it was something was broke. And instead of just throwing the whole thing away, I talked to the guy and let me buy that out of his barn and then repurpose it into something. I just love the repurposing side because it allows you to still tie in the antique with something new. Instead of just throwing away, you can actually repurpose it into something that you can make a piece of furniture. Like I've got 2 backboards out of an old school here that I'm actually going to make into pub tables. And they're old school. One's oak and one's glass, backboard. It's just kind of fun to do those type of things. So we have just about anything you can walk into a house and imagine. It's there. Only thing is, when we get the estates, you got to be here within the first week, or the goodies are all gone because the local stores come and buy from me. And a lot of times, they'll come through and they'll grab up all the fancy gingerbread pieces, and they're gone. In fact, Ryan's got a couple beautiful pieces he's had here. He's bought. He's got to come back and get. That happens a lot. Guys will grab it up, and they may not have the room today, but they'll be back a couple weeks and get it later.
Oh yeah,
it moves often.
Oh, it happens. And talk about just one of the pieces that I actually brought home inside here in the studio, that Bliss coffee can, which Trey's a massive coffee collector. And every time I try to go on these trips, I try to bring home a coffee piece for the collection to put here in the studio. And it's one of the bigger Bliss coffee cans I've ever seen. And it actually completed the set for the Bliss coffees. Pretty cool.
That's awesome. And we're always happy to hear about that when somebody is able to find something that finishes off their collection or something that they remembers their childhood, whatever the case may be. It's exciting to see them find that one piece. It's like, man, I've been looking forever, and here we have it. That's the exciting part is they went from state to state looking for it, and here I found it in somebody's basement, garage, barn, attic, whatever, and bring it in, and then they get so excited because they're like, I didn't think I'd ever find this. I don't know how many times I've heard that story.
Yep. Well, remember the seal test, massive, huge.
Oh yeah.
Yep. The one I bought from you. Well, that's sitting in my my aunt's garage right now, and it covers literally the whole wall. It is fantastic.
Yeah, it does. It's beautiful.
It is fantastic. It covered up my whole bed in my truck.
Yeah, I remember we had to strap it down.
We did. I remember I had problems with the hooks, and you and Ryan literally just came around the corner. I got this, bro. We do this all the time.
Yeah, see some of our loads. We got 2 trailers and a truck. We look like the Beverly Hillbillies on steroids sometimes coming down the road because we'll unpack a whole house and the trailer's full, on top of the trailer, strapped to the sides of the trailer, in the truck bed, hanging over top. It just depends on how much stuff we got, how much we can get on that day, and it's unreal. Some of the places we've been into, some of the finds we have found. Just been absolutely amazing. We were at a pick one time, just kind of give you a quick, it was what do you want to call, moving company. And in the back of this building was a 1967 Pontiac Grand Prix. And I got my son with me. We're walking through and I see that car and he sees it. And of course I'm there to pick everything else out but the car. And my son says, Dad, ask him how much he wants for that car. I said, oh, Ethan, he's going to want too much money. He wants $10,000 for that Cadillac over there. It ain't worth $10,000. And so I left it alone and I walked away and just kept getting the stuff out of the building. Next thing you know, he comes up and says, Dad, he wants X amount of dollars for it. And I said, well, see, I told you it was too high. Dad, I think you need to do some research. So later on that night, he goes, hey, look up that car. And I said, no, I didn't. He says, well, here, sit down. And he's had me sit down on the couch next to him. He shows me all the research he did. Next morning, I got my father and I were up there negotiating on buying his car.
That's awesome.
So, that is fantastic. It was just kind of a fun find because it was a great 1967 Grand Prix convertible. Only 5,867 or something like that were ever made. How many survived the car accidents? How many were left in the field? How many are still around? Mm-hmm. So at that point, I knew I had to have it. Even if I wasn't going to keep it, I had to be an owner of it just for a short period of time even. Mm-hmm. Just kind of move from one to the next. So that's my philosophy is if I've never seen it or I've never owned it, sometimes I overpay, but I've got to own it. I can't help myself.
Man, you know how many times I've overpaid just for something I wanted? It's unbelievable.
Yeah. It becomes a passion for you. You can't help it.
It really is. So shout out to your son. A little story about him. So when we filmed Forgotten, Lost, and Found, Life Behind the Counter at your shop at Pocket Change and Alliance, your son actually walked around with us, and we started interviewing him. And he's on the video as well. And it's just funny seeing him. He's like picking all these different things out, telling stories about what the piece is. I was like, man, this dude is awesome.
Yeah, all my kids, they're very much the go-getters. My oldest one's in the Marine Corps, but on the side, he does furniture, so his wife don't have to work and raise 2 kids. And he buys furniture, paints it, and then resells it down in Jacksonville, North Carolina, where he's stationed at. So if you're from Jacksonville and you bought furniture on Facebook, you probably bought it off of Nick because he moves a lot of it.
Shout out. Trey would know this story.
Yeah.
My dad's from Jacksonville as well, and he learned how to swim. Every time we pass this one location, he makes sure he tells us that story.
Yeah, absolutely. Part of his memories. Yeah, part of his good memories.
Yep.
And and in Roman, the one you had talked with, he is a handshaker, deal maker. I tell you, when he comes in here, he doesn't even realize it. He just starts talking to people. He's a real just outgoing and easy to talk to.
Yeah, he got 20 extra bucks out of me. Dang.
Yeah. And he figured that part out real well. He figured out, if I help people or I'm so sweet talk them, the tip might come my way, and it usually does. Hey, Roman.
I'm telling you. Dang.
I got Roman actually here.
Oh,
but
Roman.
Yeah.
Is he right next to you?
Hey, Roman. He's coming over.
So one of Trey's biggest and most enjoyment that he has is putting people on the spot, and I'm going to be just like Trey today.
Absolutely, go for it.
Roman, what's up, buddy?
Yeah.
How are you, sir?
Huh? Speak up. He said, "How are you, sir? How are you?"
Good, man. Do you remember who I am?
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, we were just talking about our YouTube channel and Forgotten, Lost, and Found, and how you walked around and you literally got $20 more from me just for talking.
Yeah.
Yep. So talking to you, Roman, what do you feel about this whole antique world? Like, you're growing up in it. You see your dad doing this every single day. What is your thought process on it? What do you enjoy most about it?
I get to learn different things, different days, it's a whole learning experience.
Yeah, you told me a story about the Capri. Good for you.
Huh?
You told me about the Cadillac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite? What's your favorite location in the shop?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. That's awesome.
As soon as you walk in the door, my first thing is go check everybody's hands, because my rule is if people are walking around with their hands full, I want them empty so that they can feel free to keep shopping. And there's so many times that I've shopped, and the first thing I do is I set something down and look at something else, and then I leave, and I'm like, oh, I forgot that. I left it sitting on the shelf. I want the people to feel comfortable. And he is the first one. As soon as you walk in the door, first thing he does is takes a beeline, the first customer he sees. And he always says, hey, can I get that for you? Put it up at the counter. And he just does a great job at that. And the customers just, I don't know how many times they come and say, hey, where's that little guy at? I need him to help me. I'm going to do some shopping today, and I want him to bring stuff up to the counter. I just love dealing with him.
That is awesome. Yep, the biggest thing in business, and even in the retail, I work in full-time in a grocery store, and the biggest thing that we see is we cannot do our jobs without those customers. So a shout out to you. Absolutely. Shout out to you, bud, for doing what you got to do to take care of the guest.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, Roman, it was great talking to you, man.
Yeah, great talking to you, too.
All right, buddy. I'll see you next time I'm in Ohio.
Yep. See ya.
Later, bud. Once again, this is Drake Snide with Twintiquin Antique Roadshow right here on Next Door Radio, nextdoorradio.com. We have the honor to have Mr. Albert here with Pocket Change in Alliance, Ohio. So, Albert, tell us a little bit about what you got coming on. We were talking a little bit before the show, but you got a couple events coming up a event coming up that the listeners need to know a little bit about it.
Yeah, what we've done is we've got since I came down to town here, one of the things we wanted to focus on is revitalizing this area. I could have just built a pole building out back of my house and just continue doing everything the way I was by using via internet or Facebook or whatnot to sell. But my father and I talked long and hard about it. And one of the things we wanted to do was try to give back to the community. This downtown we have is a college town. And being a college town, we have a downtown that has been dying for years. 35 years it's been dying. It's gotten to the point where there's only been one or two businesses at a time at some points that are even operating down here. You got a row of buildings. So my object was to try to rebuild this area. So what we've done is all the business owners, now there is 10 or 12 of us down here. I have to go down to count them all because they've added a couple since I've been on vacation. But the 12 businesses that have come down here and opened up have purchased the buildings, rented the buildings, whatever the case may be, but it's a buyer's market here. So what we've done is we've created an event with all the business owners. That'll be our first but annual historical downtown event. And we're going to try to do it every July. And what we've done is I've gotten involved with a guy that is a judge from the Classic Car Guys, which is a massive car show out of Columbus. He's bringing on 2 more judges and putting on this show. So we've got a massive car show going on. We've got antiques and vendors and outside in the streets. We got food trucks coming. We've got 2 stages. One of the stages I just purchased is a 67 GMC stake bed farm truck. And I'm going to knock the side off of it and make it into a stage. Woo. And the portable stages, I can move to any part of Main Street anytime we want to and be able to host either music or a DJ or whatever we want to do for an event. Like I've got a baby grand piano in here. We've even discussed on how to get that thing on the back of the bed and making it so that we can have somebody play on the piano, stuff like that. Just always trying to.
You're going to have this at the July show?
Yep, July 17th. There'll be 2 stages with music. There'll be the car show. There'll be food and vendors. It's going to be a great time. We're basically closing off 2 city blocks and setting it up for all this event. And the idea is that as it goes on, we want to be able to spread into the lawn behind our buildings. There's a really big area back there that we can kind of turn into a venue. But we're going to start with this event and then try to generate that direction down the road a few years from now. And really get it to where it's become a staple in our community for people to come in and see and do.
That is fantastic. Yeah, you had me at food trucks.
Yeah, me too. They always have the best food.
I'm a huge fan of food trucks.
They always have the best food.
Yep. So cool. Well, Edward, we really appreciate you coming on, man. This sounds like you got so much happening, so much excitement bringing it to Alliance, and I can't wait to come visit you again.
Yeah, I'm so happy you invited us, man. I always appreciate this stuff, and anytime that somebody wants to try to promote us or bring some attention to our area, man, I'm always excited and on board for it.
Well, cool. Well, once again, this is Drake Snide with Twintiquin Antique Roadshow on here on Nextdoor Radio, nextdoorradio.com. We had an honor today to bring on Edward Albert with Pocket Chains out of Alliance, Ohio. If you're in the area, please do not hesitate to drop by. I promise you, guarantee you will not be disappointed. Edward, we really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for your time, bro.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of your day.
You too, sir.
All right, bye, buddy. Once again, guys, this is Drake Snide with Twintiquin Antique Roadshow right here on Nextdoor Radio, nextdoorradio.com. That was Mr. Edward Albert with Pocket Chains out of Alliance, Ohio. Look him up on Facebook today. I am not exaggerating, guys and girls, ladies. One thing I will say when you walk into the shop, it's one of those things where your mind is blown as soon as you walk into this place. Like, it's literally floor to floor with antiques. Each room is dedicated to events back from the childhood. Like, you got a kitchen area, you got the furniture area, you got the garage, you have this, you have that, you have this. And it is spectacular what this man's got going on down there. So please check him out. Pocket Chains of Alliance, Ohio. And once again, this is Drake Snide with Twintiquin Antique Roadshow right here on Nextdoor Radio. And remember, you be the difference while somebody smiles a day. Have a great day, guys.
Hey, this is Drake Snide with
Drake Snide.
Nextdoor Radio and the Twintiquin Antique Roadshow. Today's show is brought to you by the Antique Orphanage out of Cedar Bluff, Virginia. Antique Orphanage, dealing with only 100% original antiques and collectibles.
Also, the Antique Orphanage is always looking to buy antiques, collectibles, and oddities.
Antique Orphanage, a wide range of A to Z. Be sure to check out the Antique Orphanage on Facebook today. And always remember, every piece deserves a good home.
What's going on, guys? Drake Snide here with Twintiquin Antique Roadshow. I want to give a shout out to New Generation Antiques out of Mount Victory, Ohio. He sells on Facebook, American Pickers 24/7. Travels and shows all over the country. Now go visit New Generation Antiques today and tell them Twintiquin sent you.